Where is Lucas currently placed?
With Catherine in White Deer.
And is that a foster home?
Yes, sir.
And is that placement meeting all of Lucas's needs at this time?
Yes, sir.
Is placement making sure that Lucas attends all of his regular medical appointments?
Yes, sir.
Any special issues or special needs with Lucas we need to make the court aware of today?
Yes, sir. I actually have quite the list of medical issues I'd like to make the court aware of.
Okay.
He has to see an ophthalmology in Lubbock on the 19th, which is an eye doctor because he has a drift in one of his eyes. He seems, according to Catherine, he seems to be a little delayed for a 3-month-old. He doesn't make eye contact and he coos, but he's making very little noise. He also sleeps most of the day and is only awake 3 or 4 hours a day. But they believe that's because of his heart. He's getting his tongue clipped on the 21st because it's affecting his feeding and it's causing him to choke whenever he feeds. He has a hole in between his heart and the 2 upper chambers, and they think that's why he sleeps a lot because his body works harder because his blood is flowing a lot quicker. And he's seeing a cardiologist on the 18th. He receives weekly feeding therapy. He has silent frank aspirations, so they have to thicken his milk. And whenever he drinks, what that means is some of the fluid will go into his lungs, and he won't show any sign of distress, but he will be like choking, essentially, a little bit of drowning from the fluid in his lungs. But it hasn't been like, there hasn't been a need to take him to the emergency room because of that yet, but it is something that like they have to pay constant attention to now since they know it's happening. And he's getting an ultrasound on his head on the 13th to see, I guess, to get a look at his brain and see if there's anything there that's causing what's going on with him.
And the current foster placement's making sure he attends all of the medical appointments.
Yes, sir. She is very on top of his medical needs.
That was going to be my question. She's managing all of his medical needs, and we're helping her and providing her with whatever services we can to make sure that this child is taken care of.
Yes, sir.
Child's mother is Kelly Cooper.
Yes, sir.
And have you had an opportunity to meet with Miss Cooper and develop a service plan?
Yes, sir.
And when you developed your service plan, was Miss Cooper involved in that discussion?
Yes, sir.
Did you discuss the services that you put in the service plan with Miss Cooper?
Yes, sir. She read over the service plan. I haven't had a chance to meet her with the service plan and go over them, but I did send it to her. She has a copy of it, and she did sign it.
Prior to signing it, did she object to any of the services that you had put in the service plan?
There was one thing that needed to be corrected. Whenever I looked up, she told me she was going to a rehab in Plainview, and when I looked up Plainview Rehab, I put the place it listed, but that it turned out to be a nursing home. So I had to, then she told me the specific name of the place she's going to. And so I corrected that and then sent it to her.
And she did sign it and send it back to you?
Yes, sir.
And is it on file with the court today?
I don't believe the signed version is, but the family plan should.
Tracking devices and hidden agendas revealed. This opening twist sets the tone for a tense courtroom battle ahead.
Actually, I do believe the signed version is e-filed.
Okay. And you're asking the court to make the signed version an order of the court today?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sides has been alleged to be the father to this child. Have you had any contact with Mr. Sides?
No, sir. I went and looked for him in Dalhart, where I was told he might be. He wasn't there, and I've went to various homeless shelters, but there's been no sign.
And Miss Cooper is giving you no other names, but she has tried to provide you with where he might be.
Yes, sir. She told me about a previous address he was well, told me he was previously there, but he's no longer there. So she was helpful in trying to find him.
In the have you made an outline for a potential family plan of service for Mr. Sides?
Yes, sir.
But you haven't had an opportunity to go over that with him because you haven't found it.
No, sir.
In the meantime, would you agree with me that it would be unsafe to return Lucas to Kelly Cooper today?
Yes, sir.
Is she exercising visits with Lucas?
Yes, sir. There were
How
two
often?
it's weekly on Fridays. There were 2 missed visits because we couldn't provide her with transportation and she didn't have transportation. Um, we're now, I think through the rest of the month of August, she's been set with transportation from us, but our transportation staff is low and they've been incredibly busy. And so the 2 times that were missed, there was a request put in, but it was denied. But we are starting to or the family support worker is going to put them in earlier in hopes that gives her a better chance at getting transportation. But through the month of August, she'll have transportation to visits.
And you anticipate that she's going to exercise a visit today?
No, the transportation for today got denied.
Okay.
So,
Um,
and she doesn't have a way to get here.
is she aware of the medical needs of this child?
I believe Catherine has been keeping her updated. I know that because I know there, especially with the feeding, because she feeds Lucas during visits. And so I know she knows that she has to thicken the milk. And
Would you agree with me? It would be unsafe then for Lucas to be returned to Ms. Cooper.
yes, sir.
Will you also agree with me that it'd be contrary to his general welfare to do so?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking then that the court continue the department as temporary managing conservator while Ms. Cooper continues to work services?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I pass, Your Honor, I'll make a verbal request that we make the signed version of the service plan an order of this court, that we not make any service plans orders of the court for Mr. Sides until we can find him. We would ask to be able to do a publication or service by publication or posting if it court approves.
All right. All right. Mr. Michelson, questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ivy, you've already testified to transportation issues. Would this be the 3rd visit that was missed today?
I believe it'd be the second, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
Okay. Would you agree with me that Lucas is 3 months old and bonding with his mother is an important issue at that age?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you previously testified that the reason transportation was denied was because it was submitted late, or?
It was submitted not late, but 2 to 3 days prior, and now we're gonna start submitting a week prior to 2 weeks because we're only allowed to submit so early because of all the emergencies that come in for our transportation team. So they are starting to be submitted earlier now.
Okay.
And they've been approved according to our FSW, they've been approved throughout the month of August.
Okay. And for the missed visits, will Ms. Cooper be able to make those visits up?
I'll talk to the family support worker about it. And I was going to talk to her about extending a couple visits so we can make up that time.
Great. Is it possible that I could get her copies of her observations from visiting?
A shocking rundown of health crises paints a dire reality. Every word here builds urgency, pushing the stakes sky high.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And it's also my understanding that transportation's been a problem with respect to drug testing.
Yes, sir. I asked her to go drug test on the 24th, and she wasn't able to get a ride, and she didn't inform me she couldn't get a ride until 5:30. But I did try to set up transportation for the next day, and it was denied. And she told me she could try and go on Monday, but uh, she wasn't able to because the test expired. And so, but for this drug test, I sent her on Wednesday, and she wasn't able to get transportation for herself either. But I was able to set up transportation for Monday, so she will be able to go take a hair in UA on Monday.
Great. And so for future drug tests, will she have transportation by the department to get to those tests?
Yes, sir. We're gonna attempt to provide transportation. It's hard to do it because we're supposed to give them only a 24-hour notice,
Sure.
and whenever I don't know whether or not she's gonna have a ride or not,
Okay.
and so I have to tell her and then provide the transportation.
Okay. But you're aware that transportation is a critical issue for her.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Turner.
Lucas, clearly, he's 3 months old and clearly has, as you said, kind of a laundry list of health issues. Some of those hopefully will get better, but there could be other things that arise, correct?
Yes, sir.
And his foster mom is clearly on top of that. My question is she in it for the long haul? I mean, is there any moving of Lucas on the horizon, or is she committed to taking care of him?
She's committed. She told me that she wants to be long-term placement, and if for some reason she can't, she's a kinship home from, I believe she has one of Kelly's previous kids, and they're very close with the other families that are also siblings with Lucas. And she said there's another family that would be willing to take him if for some reason they can't. But she said that she's committed to keeping him long term.
Um, you were previously asked about visits. Transportation is obviously a problem for mom, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there have been, it's my understanding, several instances where visits started late, kind of last minute notices from mom, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's obviously hard on Lucas and hard on the foster parents when that happens.
Yes, sir.
You kind of briefly touched on it a minute ago, but is there something that can be done, such as a more concrete notification to foster mom so that Lucas isn't left, sitting in a car or waiting somewhere for visits to start?
Yes, sir. We can implement a system where we have a 24-hour notice from Kelly that she's going to be there, or if we have our transportation team.
Do you think that's something? I mean, has it been an issue enough? Do you think that that's something that needs to be done?
Yes, sir. It depends on whether or not, if we don't have transportation, I believe it's something that should be done. If we do have transportation, then I don't think it's necessary.
When you do have transportation, is mom good at meeting transportation at the assigned time and things like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what's your system for her notifying the department that she's going to require transportation? Is she good at doing that?
I know she's been in contact with the FSW about transportation. She hasn't had a lot of contact with me, so I can't answer that question. I don't know the answer to it. She's only notified me one time that she needed help getting transportation, and I assisted her with it, but I don't know how she is notifying the FSW.
And we talked about earlier how because of his medical issues, feeding Lucas isn't like feeding a baby that doesn't have the problems that he has,
Mhm.
correct? Has Kelly been educated or taught how to what he needs and how to feed him properly?
Yes, Catherine told me that she went over how to feed him properly with it, but she did say that she's had, or the FSW has stated that there's been some concerns when it comes to feeding Lucas.
And what were those concerns?
That Kelly doesn't really understand. Uh, One, that Lucas has can get fluid in his lungs, and that would literally be him drowning, and that she doesn't understand. I mean, to be fair, I don't know this specifically how they're supposed to do it, but understand how to feed him very specifically so that that doesn't happen.
And it's important. I mean,
It
clearly,
is.
potentially a life-threatening situation if he's not fed properly and essentially drowns in his own food, correct?
Yes, sir.
Um, are the visits currently like is Kelly monitored when she feeds Lucas, or are they kind of on their own?
She's monitored by the FSW.
Okay, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Anyone have further questions for Mr. Ivy?
None for
Uh,
me, Your Honor.
Tucker,
Just-
is this a medically is the placement, or are they a medically needy placement, or is she able to take care of it even
A promise of long-term care secures the child's fragile future. One side vows stability, but trust is still hanging by a thread.
though she's not a specialized placement?
I don't believe he's not a primary medical needs child. At least he hasn't been labeled one yet.
Okay.
She is very capable of taking care of him. It's the feeding, you just have to do it a specific way and make sure the food has a specific consistency to it. And Catherine hasn't reported any problems when it comes to taking care of him. It's just a lot of medical appointments he has to go to primarily.
Okay. And you said that Catherine has watched Kelly to observed him feeding. Where does Miss Cooper live?
Miss Cooper lives in Dalhart. And
And
it wasn't Kelly that, I don't believe it wasn't Catherine that observed him feeding. It
Oh.
was
Oh,
the
the F-
FSW.
does the FSW, is she trained in how to feed the
No,
Lucas?
I I believe Catherine went over it with both of them on how to feed the baby and like how to specifically do it. But I've seen in the notes from the visits that there was one note in particular where uh, Kelly was too reported to be too laxed when it came to feeding Lucas and when it came to like getting that specific consistency. But I think that was only a one-time situation. I don't think it's happened again, and Catherine hasn't reported any problems with it, and neither has the FSW. So I don't know if it's been figured out if the feeding is good now, but
And Catherine lives where?
Catherine lives in White Deer
So where is Miss Cooper getting her visits, in White Deer?
in Amarillo.
So
It's the
is Catherine bringing Lucas to Amarillo, and y'all are bringing Kelly to Amarillo?
Yes, sir.
So Catherine's there, I guess, waiting to take Lucas home when Kelly's having her visits, correct?
Yes, sir.
So can't we just incorporate that to where maybe Catherine could observe and let Kelly try to feed Lucas during the visit, so that Catherine obviously knows how to feed Lucas. So that would be a way to teach Kelly, wouldn't it?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so we can do that, right? Catherine can
Yes.
go in and okay, good. That
Yes,
should
Judge.
help her to learn how to feed Lucas. So
Yes, Judge. And
okay,
I'm fine with that. Sorry,
okay,
this was a problem. The feeding problem was something I became aware of yesterday.
all right. Well, I
And
think
so,
that's a good way to do it. Catherine can observe during the visit and be sure that Kelly learns the proper way to feed Lucas. So
yes, Judge.
okay, all right, Mr. Alba, anything further from the department?
No,
No,
Judge.
Your Honor, we rest.
All right, Mr. Michelson, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Recommendations?
Your Honor, I would recommend that the department be maintained as conservator and that placement be continued. And that, I don't know that you want to put it as an order of the court, but that the department kind of streamline visits so that it's not stressful to Lucas or the foster mom, to be waiting and not know whether Kelly was coming or if she was going to be on time, things like that.
Okay, all right. So, Ms. Cooper sent us a chat, said, I know and understand how to feed my son, and I was feeding him the same way he eats now, except when I was feeding him. The doctor hadn't yet said that there was an issue at that time. The only difference is that now doctor ordered, and I have only had the one day that I got to feed him at the visits. Kathy will tell everyone that I know what to do. So I want to continue to do that. I want Catherine to be present and just monitor Kelly until we're sure. I mean, the idea is reunification, so we got to be sure that she's got it all down before we do that. So, okay, I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue Lucas's current placement. I'll order the services for Miss Cooper as contained in her service plan, and I will order substituted service on the alleged father, Stephen Sides, by substituted service. Miss Cooper, if you'd unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Cooper, I need to inform you today that the services contained in your service plan become a court order today. At a final hearing, if you haven't worked those services, your parental rights could be altered or terminated. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, that will conclude this hearing. Our next hearing will be the initial permanency hearing. That will be on December 3rd, 2025. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing. So, Ms. Cooper, you can get with Mr. Michelson or talk to somebody with St. Francis or go on the court's online docket a day or two before December 3rd to see exactly what time of day we'll have that hearing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. That will conclude this hearing. For those of you involved, I'll be back here in about at 11 o'clock to call a Carson County case. That's an initial permanency hearing on the Rogers child. The department, someone will file a notice of death to file in the case.
Well, and Judge, before Ms. Stevens leaves, one of the things we were hoping to possibly recommend, we didn't know exactly our place in it, but Mr. Rogers in the past did express some discontent, and we had discussed some concern with Mr. Taylor's absence. And so we didn't know if that would be a conflict for Ms. Stevens or if that he could get another attorney, considering everything that's kind of happened. He's going to need a little bit of extra support during this time.
I'm routinely, we can't find Mr. Taylor. We don't know what has happened. We've got no contact information for him. His office is boxed up. So I'm routinely, when his cases come up, I'm going to start substituting. So we might as well do that, and we'll put it on the record. Brittany, if you'd look for our next lawyer on the list, we'll go ahead and substitute Mr. Taylor out.
Okay, let me see.
Thank you, Judge. Sorry to jump the gun on everything on that.
No, I'm glad you mentioned it. I hadn't gotten around to stating that Mr. Taylor's not with us in the waiting room, nor is Mr. Rogers with us. So hopefully
He's had a memorial for the mother this morning, is my understanding. The social worker is there as well. That's why we have Ms. Collins standing in for the social worker.
That is correct.
So whoever sees Mr. Rogers next, let's be sure they tell him who his new lawyer is.
And I may be excused, Your Honor?
You may be. Thank you, Ms. Stevens.
Bye-bye.
Judge steps in. Monitoring plan aims to protect every feeding. Strict oversight now replaces assumptions and empty promises.
All right, let's see who we're going to replace Bill with.
So it looks like the next attorney for Carson would be Sage Seal.
Okay.
So let me get that phone number.
Well, he's not here, so it really won't matter.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay.
true.
All right. I'll go ahead and put that on the record now so I don't forget to. So Mr. Taylor we've not been able to locate him in quite some time. So in the interest of justice, I'm going to substitute Sage Seal as the attorney for Braden Rogers in this case. So, okay, now, Mr. Graff, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. If Ms. Collins can give us an update, I know she's got a couple of requests based on the results of some of the services the father's already complied with. So I would just ask her to give the court an update.
Okay, Marvell, if you will, please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, you can just give me your update, please.
Okay, there's no really new update on the child. Michelle did take the child down to the hospital at Baylor where mom was last Friday, and then Michelle also has him at the service today.
Okay.
She is locating a lot of family members at this point, so we're very hopeful that we will be able to find a relative for this child to be placed with. She said she was very surprised at the outcome. So hopefully we'll have some good news with a relative placement. Mr. Rogers has not completed many of his services. He has only completed the psychological evaluation, which he did on July 10th. There was a recommendation for him to complete a mental health assessment, so we would like that ordered by the court as well. He has not complied with any type of drug testing. Transportation is arranged for him to go, and then he will cancel the transportation. So we would like that to be court ordered, and we'll ensure that he gets there hopefully on Monday or Tuesday of next week for a hair and a UA.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, he has not complied with any other services. He did go to his OSAR assessment, was pretty combative, and actually told the OSAR provider that the court said he could use marijuana.
I read that.
So we have asked that he complete the OSAR again. And hopefully he will comply. Michelle did say, of course, he's going through a difficult time right now, but that he apologized profusely for his attitude thus far, and is hoping to get on the ball to work his services. Hopefully that is true, but we'll kind of see what goes on after today. Other than that, there are nothing else going on.
Okay. Give me just a second. I'm trying to keep up with this.
The court report, I'm sorry, the court report did have an investigation that had been called in with some bruising at a visitation. That investigation is closed and was ruled out. The child has not been seen with any bruises. Of course, there's supervisors doing the visitation, and the child is very content with his parents. They need a lot of direction on parenting, but there's nothing been adverse inside of the visitation. He comes out with some red marks. We don't know if it's the car seat or maybe just a handprint. He's a pretty fair-skinned little kid.
Okay. Let me look at my notes. So now I found my notes. Yeah. This was the one where the placement says that Dean came back with bruises, so that was under investigation. And then the father said that Dean's being neglected by the foster parents as he has a flat head, and that's under investigation. Are those both still pending, or are they both still?
No, those are both ruled out. Those are both ruled out. There was nothing found on either one of those.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's see. It's just down to Miss Mullinax. Miss Mullinax, do you have any questions?
Marvell, you talked about the allegations being ruled out. How do you have any reports on how the father is with the child during his visits?
Yes, Michelle supervises a lot of those, and then we have Sally down in Lubbock, and there's no concerns as far as what goes on in the visitation. The parents ask for some help as far as if he's crying, what do we need to console him? Formula, diaper changing, stuff like that. But there's nothing adverse in any of the visits. The child seems to enjoy being with the parents, bonded with the parents. So there's no concerns in the visitation.
And with regard to that mental health assessment, is that based on the fact that he had threatened to commit suicide in front of some of the workers, or is that based on something else?
No, and Michelle needs to send out the psychological. There was a whole lot of information in the psychological with some diagnoses. He was still pretty adamant, even in that evaluation, that they were kind of concerned with his mental health and whether any amount of services is going to assist in making some changes. So, but I will have her circulate that psychological to the legal parties.
I pass the witness.
All right. Anyone else have further questions for Marvell?
No,
okay, then, Mr. Graff, anything further from the department?
No, this department rests, Your Honor. Thank you.
Final orders warn. Fail now and custody could be gone forever. This is a line in the sand. One wrong move, and it's over.
Let's see, Ms. Mullinax, did you have any witnesses?
I have no witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay, then you'll give me your recommendation, please.
Your Honor, I think the current placement is safe and appropriate. He's been in that same placement the entire time. I think they take good care of him. I think he's doing well there. I do have concerns about now just father working his services, because I think that he may or may not have the capability to take care of this child. And if he's not doing his services, then we're not going to know that. And so if we're not going to get in any place, then I have concerns about him continuing to have a relationship with this child if we're not going to work toward getting him back.
Yeah, okay. All right. I can take care of that in the short term, maybe. Casa, anything to add? Ms.
Not
Hunt?
much.
Go ahead.
I'll be speaking today.
Okay.
And we have very similar recommendations and concerns that Ms. Mullinax has. In regards to Dean, we visited him in the home. He does really well in the home. He's very loved and cared for there. Our understanding is, though, that St. Francis has put in a discharge into that placement due to some concerns in regards to mainly, I believe, their attitude towards family reunification, which we believe can be remedied possibly through some more training with their agency. But at this time, we would recommend that he not be moved from that placement until hopefully with all the movement with family, and especially in this situation that's occurred, we're really hopeful that hopefully someone will step up for him. And so we don't really want to see him being bounced back and forth from foster home to foster home. Obviously, we understand family reunification is the goal. That hasn't changed yet. But we also understand that dad hasn't done much. And we do have some concerns there with that, with just the events that have occurred. And like Ms. Mullinax said, some of the statements he's made in the past. But we were able to have a conversation with him last month. What month are we in? Yeah, last month. Sorry, I'm losing track of what month it is. It started pretty rocky, but he, like Marvell stated, he was very apologetic of how he's been, how he has behaved in the past, and he seemed to have a better understanding after we discussed of his service plan, and we are hopeful that hopefully with everything that's happened, we can just give him a little extra support and a push to finish his services.
Okay. So somebody explain to me what's this problem that would cause a change of placement? I didn't understand that.
I can explain that.
Okay.
We had initially put in a discharge. The concerns that we've had with the foster home have just been something that's, well, it hasn't really been recent in the CPA, and we're trying to deal with it. And we're not moving him. The request has been put in, and we're trying to do a stabilization meeting. Hopefully we can get a family member. The concerns that have come up in the foster home is that they really are not for reunification. So there's been some concern that they were calling him a different name other than his name, changing his name for the future. When Michelle took Dean down to Baylor, they actually put a tracker in her diaper bag. So they knew exactly where Michelle was going and not going. They were very resistant for us taking him to the hospital. And so the CPA, of course, helped intervene and understand that they definitely need some more, education. They're first-time foster parents. So there's a process that, of course, we all know we have to go through towards reunification. So there's concerns going on in the home. Hopefully they may be able to be addressed in the stabilization meeting. But we're also hopeful that we can move into be placed with a family member at some point.
So basically the foster parents, they want to keep Dean.
They do.
So they're doing everything they can to monkey with anything that has to do with reunification. Is that basically it?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, when you have this stabilization meeting, whatever that means, just let them know that if that continues, if the court hears about it again, I'll have no choice but to remove him, and he won't be coming back to him. So maybe that'll help. I don't know. So, okay, then I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator. I'm going to continue Dean's current placement. I'm going to order that Mr. Rogers undergo a mental health assessment. I'm going to order that he undergo an OSAR assessment and follow all recommendations. Also follow any recommendations from the mental health assessment. And also order that he both hair and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. next Wednesday, August 13th. If it's necessary, I'll order the department to provide him transportation to that drug screen. And I'm going to, just due to him ignoring these drug screens, I'm going to order that his visitation be suspended until he provides a negative hair and UA drug screen. Okay, that will conclude this hearing. For those of you involved, I'll be back here in about 5 minutes or so to call a Dallam County case. That is an adversary hearing on the Leon child. So we will stand in recess. Everybody have a good weekend.
You too, Judge. Thank you.
Your Honor, can I get the next hearing date, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't give that. Next hearing date will be on November 19th. We don't have any of the parents here, but obviously everybody can go on the court's online docket a day or two before November 19th to see what time of day we'll have that hearing. So, okay, y'all have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too, Judge.
Thank you.
Feeding mistakes can mean life or death for this little one. The room grows still as the danger becomes painfully clear.